Hey, what's up, guys? So, this is the reset for the matchmaking and the guys I matched up with for next week. Before we get into that, let's just jump over to where I'm at with this season because I went 2-1 last week. So, I'm at 1848. Possibly another 2-1 could get me into M1. So, I've decided to kind of do a similar defense to what I was doing until I get to M1. And before I change things up, or at least get that much closer. So let's just take a look at all the guys' stats so you guys can get an idea, because I'm kind of solidly in the middle of D2, and you can get an idea what that looks like. That's giving you guys an idea of what the matchmaking looks like for this week. And what I want to do is just kind of jump into my defense and break down, kind of why I'm structuring it this way. The adjustment from the last video is I saw a Desir video, and he may be moving away from the concept of all X-Men in Room 1, but he had Phoenix in there. Of course, he had Black Knight and Cap, but it still pulled like some major teams. I think it pulled Cabal. I think it pulled Cabal twice. And so what I thought about is, well, let me look at how I can still just try to pull, Cabal, Superior Sixes, New Warriors, things of that nature, so that I can try to strategize my win. And when I looked at Room 1, I said, I do want to run Phoenix. I've got Colossus pretty strong, so let me throw him in there. And what it came down to is I needed a pre-taunt. And so I went ahead and took Bishop up to 100. Not that I think it makes a big difference, because his health is still well under 1 million, so he'll most likely get one shot. But the thing is I want him to not just be blown away by like a Kang's passive. So he can be strong enough to at least take that, and then that way I can have a sense of what I can pull in this room. And so I just want you guys to take a look at the rooms here. You got the X-Men in Room 1, Pegasus in 2, X-Men again in 3. And so the change I made is I'm going to try Infinity Watch with Black Knight in 4. I moved the Spider Society back to 5, and I have the Out of Time with not necessarily a pre-taunt, but Tigra will probably go first, and then she'll start taunting. And so that's the idea of the beginning idea of that room. So let's switch over to where I can go a little bit more in depth into each room. And then what we'll do is we'll take a look at the room rules as we go. So Room 1, on defense and offense, striker characters. With ability block, gain 50% damage. Raider characters on turn. If character has ability block, clear ability block and heal self for 10% of max health. And then skirmisher characters on successful attack may apply ability block. And just kind of going over that so we can just be refreshed on the rules and the idea of, you don't have to have all raiders or whatever is going on. You sometimes want to look at how you can make the best use. And it might be all raiders. But it's just kind of be a reminder on how to kind of strategize your room. So I want to go with the X-Men for another week or two. Mostly because of what you saw in the room buffs and what X-Men bring as a collective unit, which is typically they're going to bring more damage, defense up, more health, and of course synergy overall. And the key thing here with this team is because you have a taunt, well, you have basically 4 taunts here, but you have a taunt with Colossus, Phoenix, and Rogue. The thing is you need a pre-taunt because they won't take off soon enough. And I don't think Bishop has to do much other than just survive long enough to take whatever initial hit, and then he can die. Whether he goes down under half or he dies, that will ignite Colossus. Colossus will start to taunt. And Rogue will go before Colossus, so Rogue will taunt. And then at some point in there, Phoenix will taunt. Now, she may die before she gets to taunt, which is fine, because when she comes back to life, she'll do her health steal, and that's why she's there. She does a health steal. Gambit is there for the pings, and then you just have some taunts there just to kind of delay the fight as long as possible. And they're big, and they're X-Men, and they have synergy. And two of them are Crucible tunes, and so that allows for a little bit extra when it comes to what their kits are offering. And the main idea of this room is not to hold a room or stop a team. It's just to try to pull a meta team and, if possible, stall them out so that the efficiency can be low. Room 2. On defense and offense, all characters. Room counts as a raid. Lower resistance and healing by 50%. So right now it seems that the Spider Society would be the best team to put into Room 2. And after last week ended, that was my plan, to put Spider Society in Room 2. As time went on, I started seeing the guys had developed some good counters for Spider Society in 2. So there's an advantage to having them in another room where they can be just as effective in pulling a strong counter, and then putting Pegasus back in 2 because they pull a strong counter. And Pegasus has specific counters. That means guys have to use certain things in here that they would want to use in another room and now can't. Or if they use the better counter in another room, maybe this counter is not as efficient. And it's just all about the efficiency, try to lower their efficiency. So that's the game plan in having Pegasus in 2. Room 3. On defense and offense, all characters on turn. If character has taunt, gain offense up. On turn, apply assist now to all allies with offense up. So you guys have seen this room before. A lot of guys are running it. The biggest thing is Desir shares a lot with me on his success and failures with this room. And he's had a lot of guys fail first attempts. And sometimes the room is held. There's only been a couple times where guys have one-shot it. And the cases where they one-shot the room with Masters of Evil and Echo, he was telling me that it's a precision counter where it was very strategic. And in most cases, I don't think guys will perform it to that degree. The main thing is that I know Masters of Evil will be used here, and perhaps Masters of Evil with Scroll will be used here. And so that's just another room that would hopefully pull a Scroll. My room 3 and 2, possibly. Room 4. The defense and offense. Villain characters. Ultimate ability costs 2 less ability energy. Lower ability health by 25%. So one of the reasons I like to reread the room rules every few weeks is because there'll be certain things I forget that are in there. And I had forgotten that this was actually a villain's room. And I remember Desir mentioning, a couple weeks ago that he was going to run the Infinity Watch in this room. And so I probably was thinking not to run it at that time because I was thinking it's a villain's room. At the end of the day, when I checked the counter sheet, of course Infinity Watch was easily countered in here, but Infinity Watch with Black Knight wasn't so easy. Now, there's only one counter, and maybe guys aren't really running this, or maybe guys have run it, and it's just not guys that we know about, so we don't know what the results are. What I saw is that Cabal was used. Now, maybe guys will come up with something else, but if it takes a Cabal to clear this room, then that's just another way for me to dictate where Cabal is going to be used, which limits my opponent's choices and options on where they would like to use Cabal to, 1, clear the room with a one-shot, and then 2, to be able to clear it efficiently. Room 5. On defense and offense, all characters with blind, lower that character speed by 5% and armor by 25%. Ultimate abilities apply blind to primary target. So when I look back at the last week's attacks in Room 5, the Trial 3, my opponent used Cabal to clear out Spider Society. And as I looked at other rooms, I said, well, if a guy has to use Cabal to clear out Spider Society, then that's a win. Because it is a raid team. And that just means that my other rooms weren't strong enough to give him problems. So whether he uses Cabal here or any other room, I needed to make sure that if Cabal is used here, that my other rooms make him struggle because he decided to use Cabal in this room. And that's the reason for me switching Spider Society back to room 5 after I had decided maybe it was time for them to be in room 2. Room 6. On defense and offense, all characters on crit apply bleed to primary target if Ghost Rider Robbie, or Classic Ghost Rider is an ally, and if character has bleed, gain 20% armor. Ghost Rider Robbie, and Cosmic Ghost Rider apply 20% crit chance to all abilities. So after I moved Black Knight out of room 6 with my out of time team, I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep out of time in here. And as I thought about it, I said I do want to keep him in here because I want to take advantage of the Ghost Rider rules, and having Cosmic Ghost Rider, going for the Old Man Logan event, I have a 6 red. So it's like, okay, keep him in there. You have a strong out of time team, and out of time has done well in room 4 with Dorm, but I didn't want to move Dorm. So I thought about trying to put a pre-taunt in here, and it's like, what kind of pre-taunt can you put in here that will complement this team? And I couldn't think of one. And then as I thought about it, I said, well, Tigra is not necessarily a pre-taunt. She'll go and then she'll taunt. And I'm not saying she'll make a huge difference to this team, but what I'm thinking is that she will allow this team to do what it needs to do by taunting so early on. So I just wanted to share with you guys how I use the counter sheet to set my defense or make a defense. And as you can see, I actually have 3 raid teams that I'm using. And so you don't necessarily have to go in and spend a lot of money or invest high into a defense, but there's ways to maximize how you can use your defense with what you're already doing in other aspects of the game. And some guys are going to use Secret Defenders on defense, and now that's your arena team. Or just whatever pieces that you can put together that's not going to offset your primary goals while you still have a strong offense and are able to make a defense that gives you a chance to win. And that's basically the whole concept behind using the counter sheet, not just for offensive counters, but how you can use it to make your defense. Okay, guys, chat later.